Shedeur Sanders didn't take a single rep during day 9 of Brown's training camp. Not in team drills, not even in the hungry dog period reserved for backups and bubble players. Just like that, nothing. The guy many believe has the highest upside in the entire QB room, sidelined. And here's where things get weird. While Shedeur stood on the sidelines, Dillon Gabriel, yes, that Dillon Gabriel, took full control of the offense. What followed wasn't just unimpressive. It raised serious questions about what's really happening behind the scenes in Cleveland. Why was Shedeur really held out? Is this just a case of arm soreness, or something the Browns don't want to say out loud? And more importantly, what did Dillon Gabriel do with the opportunity he's been waiting his whole career for? Something didn't add up on day 9 of Browns camp. Shedeur Sanders, one of the most talked about young quarterbacks in football, was completely absent from team drills. Not a single throw. Not even in the hungry dog period, which is usually where players fighting for a roster spot get their final reps. Just standing on the sidelines, helmet off, watching. The official explanation? Arm soreness. But here's the catch. Shedeur has had fewer reps than any of the other 3 quarterbacks all camp long. How exactly does the guy throwing the least end up with a sore arm? Reporters on the ground didn't seem convinced either. Tony G, one of the Browns' beat reporters, caught up with Shedeur as he walked off the field. Shedeur's only response? "I'm good. No limp, no ice, no medical staff, just a calm, confident, I'm good." So if he's fine, why was he sidelined? Either the Browns are hiding something, or they're quietly putting a plan in motion that fans haven't caught on to yet. Because holding out your most promising young quarterback during a wide-open QB competition, that's not something you do without a reason. And what happened next only made things more confusing. When Tony G stopped Shedeur Sanders after practice, he wasn't met with frustration, disappointment, or even confusion. Just 2 calm words. "I'm good." No excuses, no explanations, no sign that anything was physically wrong. And that's exactly what makes it so strange. Later, the Browns claimed he was dealing with arm soreness. But the way Shedeur carried himself told a different story. According to those at the facility, he stayed after practice, did extra work on his own, and even ran with the receivers. That's not what you'd expect from someone being held out due to injury. That's what you do when you're trying to stay sharp. For fans who followed Shedeur since his Jackson State days, this is nothing new. He's played through worse. A fractured back, ankle issues, and somehow he's still suited up. This wasn't a case of Shedeur tapping out. This felt more like the Browns pulling him back, and that raises a real question. Are they protecting their asset or hiding something from the media? Whatever the reason, Shedeur didn't look worried, but someone else should have been, because all his reps were handed over to a quarterback who's been anything but convincing. With Shedeur Sanders on the sidelines, Dillon Gabriel stepped into the spotlight. All eyes were on him. After all, this was his shot. The shot to prove he belonged in the NFL. No Shedeur, limited Joe Flacco. All the reps were his. And what did he do with them? Fumble, misreads, short throws, missed timing. The tape speaks for itself, and it wasn't pretty. Gabriel looked rushed, uncertain, and frankly, out of place. This wasn't a case of bad luck or tough coverage. It was a full-on collapse under the weight of opportunity. Remember, Gabriel isn't new to the spotlight. He was the man at Oklahoma. He's played on big stages. But now, thrown into a professional setting with real competition breathing down his neck, the cracks are starting to show. It didn't help that Joe Flacco, even in limited action, looked more composed and controlled, something Gabriel lacked all day. This wasn't just another camp day. It was a revealing one. And what it revealed was clear. Dillon Gabriel had the stage to himself and fumbled the moment, literally and figuratively. And as the coaching staff watches this tape, you have to wonder, Was this just a bad day? Or the beginning of the end of the Gabriel experiment? Because the quarterback he's competing with wouldn't have let that happen. If there's one thing fans know about Shedeur Sanders, it's this. He doesn't sit unless he absolutely has to. At Jackson State, he played through fractures in his back. At Colorado, he battled ankle issues and still showed up week after week, taking hit after hit behind one of the worst offensive lines in college football. The guy's pain tolerance isn't just high, it's legendary. And that's what makes this arm soreness narrative hard to believe. This isn't a quarterback who asks out. He's the one who stays in no matter what. Which is why people are starting to question whether the Browns are being completely honest about this situation. Did Shedeur really need rest? Or are the Browns trying to keep him healthy on purpose because they already know what they have? There's also the chance that this was a calculated move. Protect your most promising young QB, let the others fight it out, and keep your future starter fresh for preseason. Because if Shedeur had taken those reps instead of Gabriel, would there even be a QB controversy right now? The Browns say it's nothing, just soreness. But when it comes to Shedeur Sanders, sitting still has never been part of the story. On paper, it looks like an open competition. Joe Flacco, Shedeur Sanders, Kenny Pickett, and Dillon Gabriel all fighting for a spot. But if you've been watching closely, the truth is starting to reveal itself. This race might not be as open as the Browns want you to think. Gabriel's had plenty of chances and done little with them. Kenny Pickett has experience, sure, but his ceiling feels limited. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders has shown flashes of elite potential, and he's done it while getting the fewest reps of the entire quarterback group. That's not by accident. It's starting to feel like the Browns are quietly grooming Shedeur behind the scenes, letting the media focus on Flacco's leadership or Gabriel's struggles, while they slowly develop the quarterback who might actually be their long-term play. And Flacco, he's a smart veteran, someone who could mentor Shedeur as the season goes on, not compete with him. It's classic NFL misdirection. Flood the field with options, draw attention away from the real plan, and then pull the trigger when nobody's expecting it. And right now, Shedeur Sanders might be exactly that plan. Because if this were truly based on performance, Gabriel wouldn't still be in the conversation. When a team sees something special, they don't put it on full display right away. They protect it. And that's exactly what the Browns might be doing with Shedeur Sanders. Think about it. The NFL is brutal. One wrong hit in training camp, and your season, maybe even your career, can spiral. The Browns know what they have in Shedeur. His poise, arm talent, and football IQ are already ahead of the curve for a rookie. So why risk it in meaningless camp reps? Especially when the guy has already proven he'll show up when it counts. Let the others take the hits. Let the media speculate. Meanwhile, Shedeur watches, learns, and waits. It's not just about protecting his body. It's about controlling the narrative. Keeping him off the field builds mystery. It lowers expectations. And when he finally steps in during preseason and outperforms the rest, it's no longer a gamble. It's a surprise success story. The Browns don't need Shedeur to win the starting job in camp. They just need him healthy, focused, and ready when the moment comes. Because if he's the future, and all signs point to yes, then these missing reps might just be the smartest move they've made all offseason. So what's really going on in Cleveland? To the outside world, it looks like a messy quarterback carousel. 4 guys, unclear roles, and a lot of speculation. But look a little closer, and a pattern starts to form. Joe Flacco brings leadership and a temporary bridge. Kenny Pickett is there for depth. Dillon Gabriel, a long shot from day one. And Shedeur Sanders, he's the one piece that doesn't quite fit the chaos, because he might be the plan all along. He's younger, more dynamic, and already has a fan base that's followed him from Jackson State to Colorado to Cleveland. He doesn't need hype, he brings it, and the Browns know that. That's why he's being handled differently, quietly, carefully. This isn't about camp snaps, it's about the long game. The Browns aren't trying to find a quarterback. They're trying to build around one. And that's why Shedeur's arm soreness story feels more like a smokescreen than a setback. Cleveland may never admit it outright, but all the signs are there. Shedeur Sanders is more than just a rookie. They're betting on him to be the future. And when the dust settles on this training camp, don't be surprised if the so-called four-man battle turns out to be a one-man rise, one the Browns have been quietly setting up from the start.